grants, 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 and more grants. So I try to apply for as many grants as I can, or have my assistant apply for some too. Okay. So last year, I think I applied for like 3 or 4. I think I got one. It was a small one. Small means like under $5,000 or under $10,000. Bigger ones are like $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. This year, I already applied for 3 grants. I got one so far, which was a small one, under $5,000. I applied for the Verizon one. I applied for two of them, which is $10,000. Now, for you guys that are looking to get into applying for grants for your business, there is a method to applying, all right? So, being that grants are considered free money, which is really not free, but it's considered to be free money because you don't have to pay it back. Some grants you may have to pay taxes on, but most grants you don't have to pay taxes on, right? Especially if it's under a certain amount. But for you guys that want to get into grants and applying for grants, you got to know what your business does, right? So I literally get at least 1 grant a year, right? Because I'm constantly applying, and I'm also God's favorite girl. Like, God loves me. The universe loves me. So I always get at least 1 grant. So in applying for the grants, it's very competitive. And there's so many people that apply for the grants, right? So you got to know, how does your business stand out? So I do events, right? So I don't just, provide financial services and books. I do events for the community. A lot of people don't do events for the community. A lot of people could care less about their community, right? But I'm one of the real ones. I'm one of the people that actually care about my community. I care about my black people. I care about women. I care about kids, right? Kids and women is my niche. And, kind of that's what I focus on when I do my events and all of that stuff, right? So when I apply for grants, I focus on my events. I don't focus on the services that I can provide. I focus on my events because it's community based. So I'm giving you guys some tips, right? So here's some tips on how I win all of my grants. So some grants, again, under $5,000. Some grants are like $25,000. The highest grant I ever won, I think, was $22,000. And that was in like 2023. Okay. But what people, like companies, whether it's a grant in your area, you can start looking for grants in your area, grants specific to women, grants specific to kids, grants specific to whatever big business niche, you are in. You can actually go to grants.gov and they have tons of grants. Now, you can actually go to school to be a grant writer, right? If you have a nonprofit or if you have a for-profit, you can actually go to school to write grants and charge people $5,000, $10,000 to get them money, right? To get them money. But of course, you as the grant writer has to have, connections to people that is, giving money. So there's a lot of money out there, right? So you guys can start searching, and that's another income stream. Grants are another income stream, right? So whether you have a 9-to-5 or whether you have, a business, grants is another way to help your business grow. So when applying for grants, okay, it's very competitive. You want to be able to stand out. So I do community events. I bring resources to the community. I help, people in the community to bring their business to the community so that they can, make money and grow. I also provide financial services, which is credit, which is business loans, personal loans, credit, life insurance. Like, I have a whole system within Freedom Path that we help people with their finances, right? So in my grant writing or applying for the grant, I stick to exactly what they want, right? I'm not talking about, my husband and my kids and, my whole life story. Some grants, they just want to know, why do you need the money? Why do you need us to help you to grow your business? Because remember, when we're applying for these grants, these people don't know us. They don't know you from a can of paint. They don't know you from Adam. They don't know you, right? So you got to be compelling, right? You got to be compelling versus everybody else who's also trying to get money, right? Because these grant places, they get hundreds of thousands of applications, I'm sure, right? And I'm sure they don't read all of them, right? But the ones that they do read, they have to stand out, right? Because some grants is from individuals. They could just write a check. Some grants are from, so I probably got about $60,000, $75,000 in grants in like the last couple of years. And I'm sure I helped other people also get grants in the last couple of years. But how do you stand out? How do you stand out? They have Allison.com. I'll put the link below. But they have classes on grant writing and how to apply for grants, right? But here's the thing about this also. People that have small businesses don't have all the resources. So that means they don't have a grant writer on their team. They don't have someone that has to take the time to research different grants and stuff like that. They don't have that, right? So sometimes when you're a one-man band, trying to do everything is very hard. This is why you need grants. This is why you need money so that you can hire other people to do things. So I have an offline team, which is about 4 or 5 of them. And I have an online virtual assistant team, which is about 10 of them, right? So I'm able to now tap into and say, well, here goes a task. I want you to find different grants that's in my industry, research them, and tell me what you think. So they'll come back to me with 5 or 10 grants, like, oh, I think this one is good for you. And then we would come up with a plan on how we're going to apply for these grants. So it does take a team effort, to do it. And anyway, as a business owner, you need a team. You need someone to do your flyers. You need someone to do your marketing. You need someone to do your follow-up. You need someone to send out emails. You need someone to talk to. You need a team, right? So I've learned that over the years. And of course, as I continue to grow, my team will grow. Like I have a retirement plan business that I want to do, that I'm doing research, right now, that could potentially make me millions, of dollars, when I'm ready to retire, which I'm never going to be ready to retire from teaching, right? So understanding, guys, just be specific on what the grants are asking for and stick to that. Don't go off. Don't bore the people. Just stick to what they're asking you to do. So I'm a grant winner. I'm not a grant writer, okay? I'm a grant winner for my business, my small business, when I do events, okay? I win grants for my events. Now, I actually won one grant, that was the highest grant, was $22,000, but that was during the pandemic. It was because my business was in a certain area, okay? My business was in Long Island, and they were giving out grants for people that so my grants were, that highest one was in Long Island because my business was in Long Island, and Long Island had got some money from the federal government to give to businesses. So that's the only one I really won for my business specifically. But the other grants I won for doing my community events. So I will continue to do community events. I also look for sponsors for my community events. People that can sponsor, like Verizon, Fidelity. There's so many companies, and this is another wealth hack. There's so many companies that's willing to give you money for your business or whatever you're trying to do. You just gotta get yourself in position, You got to network. You got to go to networking events. If the networking event is an hour away, 2 hours away, $1,000, it don't matter, because your net worth is what matters. Your network is what matters, right? So if you just around all your coworkers all day, or if you just around all your family members all day and they ain't got no money, then you can't get no money. So definitely, start looking for grants. Like I said, you go to grants.gov. They have plenty of grants. You can go to your state's website. You can look for, some of the grants that they may have, start applying for them. But go to allison.com also too. They can teach you how to start writing grants, but start looking for virtual assistants that can help you, that can outsource this, where you're not feeling so overwhelmed as a small business owner. It's not easy being a small business. It's not easy, doing business, right? Especially when you're all by yourself. I used to be lonely. I used to be by myself doing my business until I realized, you know what? I need money so I can hire people. I need money so that I can have people do certain things for me. Now I'm not as overwhelmed, right? Now I have people that I can talk to. Now I have people that do things for me. Now, I got people that do my flyers and websites and all that stuff, which is great, right? But again, it took me time to get here, right? So it's all about growth also too. So grants.gov, allison.com, if you guys, want to learn. Go to your state's website, start looking for grants, guys, because there's plenty of money out here. We just got to know where to look, and we got to be in position to get the money. So make sure you guys follow me on all platforms at Coach Tanisha